of a discussion point. This would come up as a discussion point with Gordon, that, we need to know specific instances. Can you look at going into that paragraph that he's written and he's given an example? For example, what does he say? Do you have that in front of you?
It says for example, the learner plan to secure promotion to senior management level within 2 years and complete an MBA by 2026, ACD1.
And what does he say in that?
He just said for LO3, the learner sufficiently identified, planned, and implemented appropriate personal development activities to develop knowledge and skills required at senior level. For example, the learner planned to secure promotion to senior management level within 2 years and complete an MBA by 2026. But he don't actually say what he's actually given, for example. So he hasn't actually said what's wrong with it.
No, that is correct. So, this is, you're looking at each unit that he's given a bit of feedback on. I'm saying there is a summative feedback that he's given in the box.
At the top, the learner the comments.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt. When we see each comments for each unit, the comments looks all right. He didn't even pointing out anything in that. But when we see the conclusion, like the final comment,
action points.
The final comment, just in the comments, like starting the comments, learner moderation report when it starts. So in that comment, you can find the concerns which he's having.
Which has similar to the concerns at the end as well. He said that the learner has developed, submitted sufficient work to meet the required distinction outcomes claimed by the centre. Centre assessors and IQAs have made the recorded acceptable judgments. Notwithstanding these comments, there's potential lack of clarity, focus, and audible trail on the assessment and IQA pathway adopted by the centre during the life cycle of the learning act. For example, how the centre identified dealt with the potential excessive inappropriate use of AI, documentary evidence of initial assessment, IQA being carried out by the centre, and reporting mechanisms used. So in addition, how learner work is authenticated initially and during the resubmission process, along with how the learner assessor and IQA feedback could have been more robust, focused, and progressive.
So this point in this comment that he has mentioned, what we need to be able to look at is, there are three parts to this comment. First part is a learner authentication. That is normally done through an assignment submission sheet. And obviously we do a scan, for AI/plagiarism. So that's the first part. The second part is he relates it to what assessment, the bit that he says is basically how is the assessor looked at it and how has the IQA identified it. So obviously on the front cover sheet, we don't have any ways to put this, but generally what we do in the assessment is we ask the assessors to basically, acknowledge that, this is the plagiarism report shows, 10% similarity or 20% similarity, whatever it is. And then we say this is within the tolerance limit of as defined in the college policy. Yeah. And then the third part that we look at, that he's mentioned that IQA should have pointed that out, is the place that he has picked up wherein the IQA process is not robust. So for example, we are able to show to him on that day that, we have, this process as identified because we've sent a separate email to the learner. His times, Jill, if you check.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Sorry, sir. Your voice is breaking.
In the folder, if you check in the folder, JS folder, you would see that we have 2 or 3 reports of AI GPT in some units. Okay. So we can actually show him, if you parallelly check while we are talking.
I am checking. I'm checking.
Okay. So we can actually talk to him on that day and obviously show that, we had flagged this off. There is an email which we have sent to the learner. And then the second time we have again checked the assignment to see whether that's fallen within the remit of, our college policy.
Yeah. So we've actually flagged that up to the learner already, haven't we?
Yes. And the learn emails are quite diverse to explain how this has come up. And he's himself expressing surprise that this is something which I've written myself and my own experience. But how is this being flagged up as AI? I said, and then I explained to the learner that we have an enterprise version of the software. Obviously, we are able to see sources. We're able to see which part has been, paraphrased. using a software, and also some part of it which you have given as a command to ChatGPT could have been rewritten using a paraphrasing software, and that's why it's flagging up as a similarity. So we'll go into that detail. But how? Yeah, go on.
And this says that, inadequate handling of potential AI misuse.
Yeah.
So what does it mean by, like, is it mean by the center did not provide evidence of how it identified or addressed the excessive, or like how we are doing AI reports and all? Does it mean by this?
I think so. In terms
I think,
of
do we print out AI reports where it identifies that he's gone over that 20%?
Yes.
So then why
you must have seen this in your folder,
yeah,
no?
Yeah,
the folder which Shazia would have been shared.
Yeah.
So there are AI reports for each assignment that we have got.
Yeah.
Very clearly show highlighted portions in yellow, which is in the report itself. With clear, so these are the ones which have been written using AI. So that bit we tell the learners to rephrase or paraphrase or reference and send it back. And then again, a report is run to ensure that that portions or, blurbs of it, I can't look at 1 word, 2 word, 3 word, 4 word. But if I see it in paragraphs or 3, 4 sentences, then that is definitely asked and flagged up with the, and that is not something. Now, my justification is something that we can actually, show in front cover sheet, because at the end of the day, it's very difficult to show it in the because you have limited information that you can put there.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's asking for something which we can clarify, which is there with us as an audit trail.
And it might be a good idea, like you said, Raman, to show him it when he's on the
meeting. We'll show him all the emails and everything. Yes, but the main part which he would and somebody would do, because after COVID, one of the drawbacks is everything is happening on a remote basis. So one of the things which they will flag up is that has the IQA flagged that up in the report or not, in the comment to the assessor or not. That is the most important thing that would need to be done. Isn't it?
Yeah, and the other thing that, they were mentioning, that weak learner work authentication, like there is no clear evidence of how learner work has been authenticated during the resubmission process and all. But if it is a resubmission, then, our assessors, they always put 2 dates, and that is it a resubmission, then it says yes. So it clearly indicates that this is the resubmission. But what the other thing we can mention in this case?
But in this case, the mention would have been, okay, this is the justification that...
I can't hear anything. Hello? Jill, can you hear?
That the work was rightly asked to be resubmitted.
Sorry, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Sorry, no worries. I'm actually outside the office now that I don't want to come in, so voice echo won't happen. But I'm saying in the IQA sheets of Shazia, there should be a comment somewhere, at least 1 or 2 or whatever we can show, which says that the assessor was correct in returning or asking the learner to amend the work or, resubmit the work due to high plagiarism or the task not being met. Is there a comment like that in any of the IQA reports? Even if it's like that is what Shazia you need to tell.
I will be honest with you, Raman. I haven't put that because I expected that from obviously just the assessor rather than me having to put it in the IQA.
No, the assessor has already put it in the front cover sheet. If you look at,
the
assessor is putting it.
I haven't referred to it saying that that as the learner, the assessor is right in telling the learner to resubmit the work due to the high AI.
So this is a miss in your end, which you need to be particular about from going forward, because even if you've done the IQAs for IFA learners, for 1 year, you would have your decisions, you've agreed with everything.
Okay.
I don't think there will be any comment in any of the reports, simply which will say that the assessor, like in the OTHM report. In the OTHM report, if you open up, you see you have that columnar grid. In one of the comments of the grid, it says, was the work resubmitted by the learner? And then we say yes. And we say in some cases, the work was asked to be resubmitted because the work was not sufficiently meeting the learning outcome.
Okay.
Right. So in this case, we haven't put any comments from the IQA side. That is why he would have said that, okay, assessor has Jill, if you check on your end, if any of the front cover sheet actually has resubmission as yes.
Yes, one of them has.
Right. So we can actually show him, because he's got the full work. We cannot change any evidence right now. And he's got the IQ sheets as well, but we can actually show, because, and Shazia's point will be to justify that because the assessor has already done it, I didn't need to do it in the IQ sheet. Right, Shazia?
Yes, yes.
But going forward, what you have to do is you have to be particular about doing some commenting as an IQA for any IQA work that you do, whether it's Pearson, whatever.
And I think one more thing, that the developmental feedback which we give them in the end.
Yes.
So we should keep both feedback in that, like the previous one and the new one as well, I think.
What's that, Jill? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah. Go on, Jill, go on.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Jill, go on.
Yeah. So the developmental feedback.
Yeah.
I think we should keep both feedbacks in it, like the previous one and the new one with the new submission. We should keep both feedbacks in it.
Yeah.
Like we only keep the resubmission one, like the new feedback in it.
Yeah, but couldn't you put, on the sheet itself, there should be first
in the front cover sheet.
It could be first submission, second submission, and put the feedback both inside it.
Yeah. So it can clearly indicate that this is a resubmission,
Yeah.
No, that is fine. But if you look at the process, that is how the ATHE front cover sheets are created. So what we do is, if we reassess the work, then you put a second date. You put signed off on 2nd of March, or say 13th of March, because there are 2 dates which are coming.
2 dates,
Then you change that grade next to it. You have a column which row which says there was a resubmission required. You change it to yes. And any new comments, we do only short commenting. We say, as per the initial feedback given, the learner was required to submit AC 2.1 or 3.1, and that was resubmitted. And we normally highlight that in yellow.
Yeah, that's correct.
In all the markings that I do, I will just put a comment in the summative box underneath whatever has been mentioned in the first instance, and then highlight this one line, which is a standard line I put, and just change the ACs depending on the assignment and the learner. This was submitted as an annexure. Now it meets the criteria and the grade confirmed. That is the standard line I normally put.
Yeah.
So that is already there in Jay's work in any case. In 3 assignments for sure. In HRM, in managing continuous change, and in strategic marketing, wherein the similarity was high from what I remember, which I've assessed, 100% it is there.
Yeah.
Right.
There is one unit called, organizational behavior, which he has resubmitted.
Resubmitted, yes.
Yeah.
So it is definitely there. But what needs to be captured from an IQ perspective, Shazia, is that you would need to have this as a standard line in all the IQ processes that you do. Okay. So in your checklist, you might have to say, was AI scan done? That is 1. Is there a resubmission required? That's point 2. And third, has the assessors commenting for resubmission have been given, which have allowed these developmental comments which were given in the initial submission have actually allowed the learner to achieve the unit.
Right, okay.
Now, from an IQ perspective, I mention that as a comment in all the IQAs that I do.
Okay.
These are things which I normally do. We used to use PlagScan earlier, but now we are not using PlagScan. We are using AI GPT, which is an enterprise.
Which does AI scan and plagiarism scan,
sources scan, plagiarism scan, everything. So we definitely mention in the report that, the AI GPT scan is 10% or 17% or 90% or whatever, and the assignment was asked to be resubmitted. We don't even assess.
So, when we do these scans, we do have these scans in the learners folder, like we do have that work, right? But our assessors, sometimes they don't mention this thing into front cover sheet, that AI says this and plagiarism says this, right?
Yes. But so I think after PlagScan, we have not started doing it.
Yeah.
That is the correct point.
If the tutor is if the assessor is not mentioning this into front cover sheet, then they are expecting that Shazia should pick this up into IQA report, and Shazia should give them the feedback on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shazia, this will need to be a practice, because what we do at our end is, if we find that the AI GPT report is over 30%, we will send the assignment back with the copy of the report. And there is a standard paragraph which has been created, which if you use the template in Zoho called caution, if you write the word caution and send it to Shazia, So she would know that this is the standard wording of the template. I have had 2-3 IFA learners who have actually contested the report. And they say, I've done it myself. This is the similarity. How come your report is showing higher? So there is another template in Zoho wherein I've created GPT report explained.
Yeah.
Send both those emails to Shazia. So she knows exactly, does this mean and what does this report mean?
Yeah.
Shazia to actually raise the point in that meeting with Gordon that this is a standard process that we are falling under, and that is why our IQA processes are robust.
Yeah.
Okay, Shazia?
Yes, okay.
So I think your checklist might have to have these 3 points. AI mentioned by the assessor report. And second part is, was there a resubmission required? And the third comment, which you clear, because then you agree with the assessor to say that the assessor's comments were, the feedback was developmental and in line with the requirements of the assessment criteria, whichever way you want to word it. And that has allowed the learner to achieve the outcome and thereby the unit.
Okay. Okay. What
so for this,
the ATH form.
Yes.
On the ATH form, it doesn't actually the one that I've got, it don't actually say resubmission. It says any action points. So would that go into that pit?
You mean the summative
when I'm doing the
sheet,
IQA, when I'm doing the IQA for the learners on ATHE forms, there's no thing on there that says resubmission.
No, but I think this thing you just have to mention in your comments.
IQA form won't be. No, in IQA form you wouldn't. Yeah, because if you look at how the process of IQA works, Shazia, IQA will only get to see the work if the work has been cleared by the assessor. You will not get to see, because in our case, this is another thing that we need to synchronize for this meeting is that we have interim IQAs and you have planning for IQA, and you have final planning for IQA. So if you do interim planning, then you're also seeing some of the assessments which are happening in which you're already commenting and picking up gap areas which assessors need to be fed back on. Right. This is something which is totally separate from what you're actually, what we are actually discussing in the report here. But when we have the visit, this is one of the points you'll have to show, because in the OTHM report, if you see, we do IQAs wherein there is a yellow and there's a green, which is interim and final. So we will have to tell ATHE very clearly that this is how we run it, and what you get to see at the end is a final IQA plan. You don't see an interim plan. Then you will explain to him that how else would you expect me as a lead IQA to manage my assessors? You think I only will do the IQA towards the end of the program? No, I have to look at doing the IQA in the middle and at least every quarter, because we want to look at progress and tracking of the learners' progress on the course. We have to look at giving feedback to the assessors in terms of how the assessments are being done. And are the assessments timely? Is the delivery and teaching happening timely? And the last but not the least, what you are also going to tell the assessor is that if I look at monitoring of the assessors in terms of how the assessment processes do work, we need to be very clear in terms of ensuring that they are also being given continuous developmental feedback by me that I'm monitoring. So you would, obviously, this is a different part of the report. When we look at the annual monitoring visit, they will say, what is your IQA process? You have a 3-step process. You have a planning that you do for the year. You get notifications on new learners joining. You get the interim IQA plan and you make it. And obviously, you have your termly meetings with the standardization that you conduct with assessors. And these then allow you to feedback to assessors to see what they are doing correctly, what they are not doing correctly, what are the gap areas, are we looking at marking to the awarding body guidelines, are commands being taken, is AI being addressed? There could be a number of things that I could look at. Is that?
That's okay.
Now, so what we are going to do when we have this meeting with him on the 29th would be to basically explain some part of it, which will be done by course coordinator Bill, that we don't even look at the assignment. It doesn't even go to the assessor unless the AI and plagiarism are clear. That's the first thing that we do automatically when the assignment comes in. If the plagiarism is higher than the college policy, it goes back to the learner with this comment. And this is the example of the email sent to Jay. Okay, the second part is once it is available and it is redressed, assessors will mark it and then it goes to the IQA for checking. Now, in the IQA sheet of ATHE, to answer your question, there are 3 sections to that sheet, and the 4th section is any action points.
Yeah.
Right. So in the 3rd section is where this commenting would come in. That resubmission was rightly, I think so. In the 3rd section, it will come, because what you will agree with the assessor
looking at areas for any sort of improvement, so you can put it in there. Yeah,
that's correct. So because of the feedback given, and the feedback was developed, allowed the learner to understand where the gaps were, and that has allowed the learner to now, the achievement of the LO is secure, and that has allowed the learner to achieve the, unit. In the second one, you can put, AI. For example, I have also looked at the AI report, and the AI report is so and so percentage, and it is within the tolerance as per defined in the college policy.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be the things that you will have to maybe going forward, any IQA that you do, for irrespective of any course, any organization, you would have them in the reports in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, anything else on this report, Jill?
I think one more thing that when they say is that poor resubmission tracking.
Yes.
So I think they are saying this from learners' perspective.
No, they are saying resubmission tracking. ATHE's policy right now is that resubmission is allowed. In some cases, colleges which have now created a policy which allows only one resubmission, just like Pearson. And the second is, in some cases, if the plagiarism is too high or AI is too high, and after a first warning that has not been adhered to, they mark down the grade to pass. So this is something defined in our plagiarism policy.
Okay.
That we are only allowing one resubmission in ATHE. And if we, after the first warning, is something not adhered to, then your grade will be marked down as only.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Shazia.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
You need to go through with these are your tools.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yeah.
These tools that you have in your arsenal, to be able to say. Yeah, go on.
And when in the IQA report, when it says like yes or no, right? For example, has the work has been assessed to the correct standards as stated by the ACs or whatever it is. So I think we should give a more developmental feedback in this, not just the 2 or 3 sentences in it. I think more developmental feedback in all these criterias.
Can be.
Yeah, those feedback
you would have
improvising everything.
Because most of your reports look the same, to be honest.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Discussion with I can have with you separately.
Yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll try and put a lot more in there in regards to
you can mention everything over there, that the learner has mentioned these, that, and the tutor has done these and that, and tutor hasn't mentioned these and that, whatever is lacking in that front cover sheet, you can mention everything over there.
Yeah, maybe that's something
it should be more detailed.
Yeah
that's something you could ask this question also to Gordon Shazia.
Definitely
you could ask this question. How detailed you want the IQ to be? You don't want me to do second assessment. But how detailed you want the feedback to be? I can be as detailed.
How detailed you want me to do it?
This is something we can ask them. Okay, one other thing quickly, Jill, which you mentioned. How do we track resubmissions? Now, tracking of resubmissions is happening through the desk. Every time the learner submits, it comes to learner work. So we know it's a resubmission. Because first time we have replied to it. So there's an email trail evidence available for them to see that this is how resubmission is being tracked. And we have our manual assignment trackers.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Any other point?
No, not from my side. I'm just going to look at the, I think I need to address with Gordon as well how detailed he wants me to do this kind of stuff. And what their expectation is from, because the different awarding bodies will have different expectations. So how detailed do you want it to be? More personal?
But I think when they say is like insufficient feedback quality, it means like they need more detail. Honestly, we can ask them.
I don't know. Some awarding bodies don't. That's what I'm saying. So it's better to ask Gordon on the day to see.
No, so in this case, Shazia, the moderation that I will do in terms of what you're saying and what Jill is saying is, Because we are considered to be an expert center for the ATHE, our questioning to them should not be basic. You have to look at sharing some best practices. Like for University of Lancashire, I will share with Gordon already that they have allowed and created a ChatGPT bot, which is allowed for research and any purposes that the student want to do. And the university itself is making it available. So how do we detect ChatGPT? We have done this. How do we make sure that that is there? Now, the second part, which I also want to mention in this context, is that if you show that, or if you share that, because I'm a EQA for Birmingham City for law, or say, for example, Bradford College, and these are some of the best practices that I've brought into UK University, he will get that confidence, because that is what Phil used to do. You know, obviously, from his point of view, his experience was only a level 4 HNC in engineering. But because he was doing IQA for so many years, he was to bring colleges across 20 years back, I did this, or 30 years back, I did that. And that is what I've used as a control unit and all that stuff. So one of the things that we normally do in the IQA is, if we have a lot of learners, like in level 3 business and healthcare and IFA, what you would do is, an IFA, obviously units are different, you know, for most of the learners. So that's why you're doing a monthly plan. But in the case of level 3 business, level 3 healthcare, what we are doing a control unit is you choose one unit for across all the learners. That is one mandatory unit that you will do IQA for across the learners. And then the second unit, you randomly in some case unit 2, in some unit 3, in some unit 4, different learner, different unit. So you're IQing 2 units. So you're able to see variability of work. You're able to see variability of feedback. You're able to include all the assessors. And the last but not the least, you're able to ensure that the units which have issues in which problems can come, generation of content can be done through paraphrasing and this and that. You choose that unit carefully, and you change your control units quite often. So for example, now we look at healthcare, we have 6 units. So your unit 1 could be a control unit in quarter 1. But in term 2, you use unit 2. In term 3, you use unit 5 or unit 6, like personal and professional development, right? That could be another best practice. So what I'm trying to make as a point here is that in your discussions with Gordon, because you are not somebody who's just started doing this process, you have 15 to 20 years of itself. And that should be exuded. Means we need to advertise it by actually sharing 1 or 2 good practices, which gives them the confidence. The person, if I engage further in discussion or in any sort of an argument, the person has, you know, her fingers or, you know, your fingers in different pies, and you're able to get the best feedback from different places and then implement and bring it to your process in terms of IQA. Is that okay? That is what I have done when I worked with Pearson. The reason of working with Pearson, NCFE, others is to ensure what are they doing, what other centers are doing, and I've got these best practices into UK University. So that exudes confidence. That tells them that no, we can't challenge them. They are not going to take it lightly. We are not going to take it lightly. We do our things, but if there are changes in processes which ATHE is doing, we need to get those as process changes, because I don't know of any process change which has happened in the internal qualification assurance side on ATHE from last 2 or 3 years. So Jill, if you download the policy from the ATHE portal and send a copy of that to malpractice and IQA and assessment policy, if you send it to Shazia, so that she would have at least read them and she has the armor to be able to, you know, basically say, okay, your policy says this, and we are following this policy, and this is what we have adapted in our policy at UK University. Right?
No, that's okay. Thank you.
And one last thing which I want to say is that in our case, because we are a high performer, that means we have we are probably the second biggest center for ATHE in the world right now. Right? Pathway is probably the other center which basically has a lot of funding, and they do qualifications on level 3. But we are the biggest center by far as numbers are concerned. So obviously they would need to check some of these because we are guinea pigs for them. So, and Gordon is coming in the visit. He needs to have something. He can't just come in and say, no, everything is hunky-dory and everything is fine, everything is good and this and that. He's not coming to compliment us. His role and his pay is obviously going to be justified if he's able to dig holes into what we do.
Definitely.
Is that okay? So I think as a team, we need to, you know, cover him from both sides. Course coordination will say, okay, that's the operational part of it. IQA says that's the part of it, and assessors, because I'm going to be in. And technically the problem now which we are having with a lot of awarding bodies is they're saying if you are the center head, you can't be assessing and you can't be doing IQing. That is a problem that we are facing with OTHM, because in OTHM, when I send it, that's another problem, Shazia, which we need to look at finding a solution. And I'll explain very quickly. What OTHM has started to say is, because they've gone into so many qualifications and we are seeking approvals like childcare, artificial intelligence, data analytics, data science, you look at therapies, you look at hospitality and safety, things like that, occupational safety. What they're saying is your IQA is not competent to deal with these qualifications.
Okay.
Because they're saying you need a specific IQA from that area or from that field who has experience in that particular area, because these areas are not common.
You're right. Okay.
So they are seeing your CV as mostly law related.
Yeah.
And there is no other diversification that's shown, because when we fight, and I use the word fight, is because what I do is I create my CPD every year, but in that CPD, some of it I manufacture, some part of it I actually put actual content, because I've done AI or I've done software or I've done healthcare management, and I show that I'm reading or doing that, and that allows them to see that as a person. I've debated this with HM, and there was a bit of a let's say constructive argument and discussion with Patricia. I told her that you can't expect every to have every discipline.
Yeah.
And this is something which had happened when we were trying to seek approval for the psychology qualifications. So what did CV of Anjum, myself?
They want IQA specialists in that area, don't they? That's the thing.
Yes, because they are now into 17 different subject areas.
Yeah.
And we are seeking approvals in different subject areas. So what the problem we are facing now is, they're saying you are the center head. So I raised it with Elise yesterday in the meeting that, if center is going to be a figure in the operations and their role is not to be able to teach and it's only administrational, then I would get somebody in my staff to become the center head. I don't want to be a center head. I said, I don't want to leave teaching. I'm an academic by background, and I've been teaching for the last 15 years. And I've fought 4 master's degrees, in each discipline, and I maintain my CPD. I said my CPD is 29 pages.
Yeah.
Right. And we did for the last 10 years. So if you tell me that I don't have functional competence or I don't have a qualification and I can't teach, then there's a problem. So what I did was, when we were seeking approval for the psychology qualifications, one of my colleagues in Pearson, who's the head of psychology in Coventry University.
Yeah.
So I spoke to her and I said, can you look at this CV of Anjum in mine and tell me, can we not teach psychology? She came back with a robust analysis, and that was forwarded to Patricia. And I told Patricia, look at this. She's the head of psychology at the University of Coventry. And she's saying, Anjum and you are both competent enough to be able to teach any of the units. Yes, there are 1 or 2 specialist units you might struggle to teach, but because you've maintained a CPD, that should not be a problem. So her version to me was that assessors or your tutors do not have that qualification and they're not competent. Second part was, they said that your IQA needs to be from that specific field. Childcare, psychology are specific areas. Nursing is a specific area wherein you need somebody who has to have that competence, like engineering, for example.
Yeah.
Right. And the last point she raised was that you have the same people teaching all the qualifications. How is it possible? Are they so big of a genius? Me and Jim pretty much teach everything. So what we did after that feedback, this was just after COVID in 2022, when that feedback was received, what we did was we started looking at dividing our faculty into different areas in which they have master's / bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
So Daniel and Samuel Navajake are basically logistics in masters from Coventry University.
Yeah.
MSc in logistics. So Anjum, myself, and Yasir are law and LLM in law. You're also an LLM in law. So you're the IQA for lead LLM as far as law courses are concerned. Law can also, to a certain extent, cover business and accounting.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the university departments, you have law, business, and accounting as one department university.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Yasir is a IFA, direct membership, and Anjum also has now taken the IFA membership. I am an MSc in accounting and finance from Northampton.
Yeah.
Right. So we justify business, law, and accounting qualifications this way. But now when it comes to engineering, I have Sanjay Sinha, who's the engineer.
Yeah. Hello? Hello, I can't hear. Jill, can you hear?
No, I cannot hear too. No. Hello.
Seen some other biological healthcare sciences as well. And these three people are basically managing the healthcare and childcare side of things. Patricia Land that we have, or Patricia Alderton that we have, you met yesterday, she's BSc in healthcare management from Salford Uni. And she was also declined for childcare qualification, saying that she is not able to do childcare. Although 15 years of her work has been in SENS and working with children-related bits, but they were not accepting OTHM. But in our case, that is the division that we have done. And then if you look at some other areas like strategic management, strategic marketing, project management. So I'm a Prince 2 project qualified, so is Anjum. And we are the two basically lead teachers on that side. When you look at finance in particular across the unit, you have Sanjay, Reena, myself, Anjum teaching finance. All assessments would be signed off on our name. And then I think one or two other areas that got left out, which probably could be tourism. Anjum does it. We have, say, for example, psychology. There was one teacher that we had taken in India, Navjot, and she is the basically psychology assessor. We only have 1 or 2 students on it, and now they've completed in any case. So that kind of a breakdown you should have, and that is where you should be running the standardization meetings with either Aman or Jill included, or Amrita included, along with Reena in, getting hold of these lecturers. Henry and Victor are doing IT. So Henry is MSc in cybersecurity, but Victor is only bachelor's in computer engineering he's only got a bachelor's. So he gets refused by OTHM for master's courses like data analytics, immersive software engineering, artificial intelligence. Now, I myself have completed a postgraduate diploma in software engineering, in brackets, artificial intelligence with ATHE. So that allows me to teach and Henry to teach, but they say the IQA is not competent. So I told them very clearly that, as a small center, would you expect me to have 10 IQAs or 10 people who would be specialists, and then they will do IQA? So they said, yes, we can allow that to happen, but as long as the assessors, are competent. But in the case of Phil, the issue and advantage was because he used to have 40 years of experience, but actually the experience was 20. 40 was his total experience. Right. Out of that 20, he was only 10 years with us in IQ and 5 years with Manchester College. But because it was allowed, Gora face, running, chal raha tha, that kind of stuff, it worked. And he could get away with it. That I'm done my engineering and, soldering and welding and all that stuff. So he could get away with it. But this is a problem that we need to address, because when we want to get approvals, we need to look at IQA. So maybe in some cases in your circle, if you have colleagues, then we might go back to them for a 1 odd day kind of an IQA and pay them for a day's part, which could be market rate, but at least we should be able to get hold of their CV, and we could say that, okay, we have got some number of students and we are looking at a part-time IQA, are you able to work and obviously provide your services as and when required on a consultancy basis? And that could be invoiced to them on a half a day, full day basis, whatever it is. Is that okay? So keep that in your mind in terms of your circle. And you can explain if your question is that, how do you look at this or how do you look at that? You say, I'm a part of this, I'm a part of that forum, or I'm a part of this, I have this membership and I have my colleagues there. And obviously sometimes if we do need help, we can bring them in because they're external. They come in as a contractor. They are able to, do the IQA process for us. But I do the licensing, and obviously I do the administration part of it, but they actually look at the work and do the IQA. But then they will need to, this is something that we will start from this year, because we are seeking approvals from OTHM qualifications, which we do not have even lecturers to teach. But I'm doing all the, material development and presentations and books and everything. And gaining knowledge and doing it. But it doesn't mean that I want to teach or I can teach, but we would need to get somebody else. We have now taken approval for artificial intelligence, but we've got no students in right now on that program. So this is something that you can explain if asked that how are you planning the future 12 to 18 months? When they say robustness is a very subjective word. So robustness is, you tell them I have a planning that I've done for university as the lead IQA for the next 12 to 18 months, because we are looking at seeking approvals for these many qualifications. We are already looking out for an IQA. I'm already identifying any sort of trainings that I can get into with the awarding organizations and any webinars that we can get into for understanding what the IQA work is, or what and how the IQA processes would need to be amended or changed or adapted, whichever way you put it.
Yeah.
So I think when that is the only difference, I'm sharing this crux with you because when they have a discussion with me, I'm seriously thinking that I'm not going to be the center head from this year, 1st July, because I need to be able to do other things, which obviously they are cutting me out of because of, they say, conflict of interest, that you are the center head, you're also the IQA, you're also the teacher. So it's best that I get somebody else to become the center head, and obviously me manage the teaching part or the IQ or at least the assessing part of it in some qualifications, because I cannot sign off anything in my name currently for any awarding organization, including NCFE, ATHE and OTHM.
Right.
So I end up doing all the fucking assessments, pardon my French, because it's frustrating. I am doing everything. Anjum doesn't mark a single assignment. You know, and Yasir does no assignment. Anita does nothing. You know, Daniel Mensah does nothing. Victor does nothing. Henry does nothing. Every assessment is done by me. You know, but it is done and signed off in their name. That is the reality. That's the truth that you need to know internally. You know, you do and pick up some of them for your law part and at least for the common units in healthcare and business. But if you ask me, you know, nothing is being done. That's why I've absolutely automated that process now.
Yeah.
But this visit is going to be critical for us because we are not going to share this with them and see where the assessments are, or are they able to punch holes. That is where I will use again AI to basically streamline it and fine tune it to say even these things should be weeded out.
Yeah.
One of the problematic comments in the report from Gordon is that the assessments are not accurate. This is written somewhere in the report, Jill.
If you do a quick I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Right. We need to look at now. This is where Reena, if you look at between you and me, Shazia, if you look at the work which is going to Reena for IQing and assessing, she's sending emails back. Assessment criteria 3.1 is missing, is not adequately covered, or 3.2 is not covered. And this is coming across on assignments at level 3, level 4, level 5.
Yeah.
So she has not moved on to doing IQA for level 6 and 7, I said, because you need to be able to develop yourself to go to master's level, leave master's level IQA to Shazia.
Yeah.
But if you see any assignment set that she picks up, we have decided on assessor, because if you have number of assessors marking in, then as an IQA, your role is to look at covering all the assessors, all the units, which makes it difficult for you because you have to do more IQA.
Yeah.
So between me and Reena, we have fixed that, okay, if this is the qualification, who are the 2 assessors that you're going to do? If this is the qualification, these are the 2 assessors. And that is where the breakup I've explained to you, which Jill will also send it to you on the email. So, you know, IT has how many teachers, law has how many teachers, healthcare has how many, tourism, so that you know when you're signing it off, you're able to then start making constructive plans.
Right.
Now, he says IQA process is not robust. I can shoot him in the foot straight away because we do teaching observations.
Yeah.
Right. And those are things that you're picking up in the teaching observation. Then we have exit interviews, course surveys, in which we are getting this feedback. Now, I have the feedback from the learner, Jay, and believe you me, the 4 lines that he has written, not because he knows us and we are an ATHE center, but he has mentioned, however, you know, it's not a particular thing that he's mentioned. So he has also mentioned it that, okay, I know you and I'm close to you and all that stuff as a center, but however, my experience of learning with UK University has been, you know, very fantastic, or whatever he has written. I'll share that with you. He's written 2 sentences only. Right. So those are bits that close the loop, because how can he comment that the assessment and IQA processes are not robust?
No, not because
we are covering it from all aspects: learners, course survey, exit interview, assessor, IQA, and even the learner's perspective. So how can you say it's a 360-degree coverage? What else do you expect from a center? If I go to a university, I can award a bloody distinction for 30 words or 50 words. And as an IQA, if I challenge that, they will say, complain to Pearson and say, no, your EQA was complaining, moaning, asking us about this sampling and that sampling. And Gordon and Mike have been in that position. They understand when I speak to them, they will understand you as well. Only thing is, you'll have to be authoritative, or at least, you know, like, I'm not saying totally authoritative, like I'm a general and what I'm saying is correct, but you have to come from a position of strength when you discuss with them. Because both these buggers are 75 years old.
Yeah.
And they have plenty of experience. They know how to, they read your psychology. The first visit they did 2 years back, you know, I didn't get well with them. And I was like on an offensive mode. I said, we've shown you everything. What else do you want? And then in that report, nothing came out. They were absolutely okay with everything.
Yeah.
Second visit, I became more aligned, and obviously I became more docile. They said, yeah, how are things, this and that. And there was a much cordial interaction, which was like much more friendly.
Yeah.
So this is the third year they are coming. And again, he's already started firing the salvos by this report.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to be thoroughly prepared. And that's why I suggested, I'm basically, John, jumping the gun and coming to conclusion, assuming there is nothing else to add. But that is why I've suggested that you need to be here 2-3 days, because we need to synchronize our discussions.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to put your parts across confidently, because you are 100% confident that I've seen this with my own eyes, and I can bet my life on this, because I know it is there in University.
Yeah.
Because one part is you're talking because I'm telling you. Second part is you've come in and you've worked with us for 3 days and you know exactly what is there, and you keep asking, checking, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get this? Can I get that? And you keep asking, so you can actually see that it is all in place, and not for one learner, for all the learners that we are teaching.
Yeah.
And that is where you will sound more convincing when you actually go out with that conviction and have that discussion.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
So my suggestion is, again, I'm not being penny wise pound foolish. Coming down daily, if it is an issue, let's get the hotel booked for you. We will get the booking done and get you in for 3 days. So that you are comfortable. You are actually, confident. You have seen everything yourself.
Yeah.
And then you bring it out.
Raman, I get up quite early, so I'm okay to travel in. I'm not bothered about that. I can just get the train in and then get back. That's and
fine.
forth.
And we can pick you up from Piccadilly every day and drop
you
back
to Piccadilly.
What days do you want me to? So the visit is on 7th and 8th.
Okay. So do you want me to come in
early for the full week? Jill, if you look at the calendar.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah?
Yeah. So you will be there for the full visit. I think on the second day, they normally end up leaving at about 3:30. Which is where obviously our bits will also end, because we'll also go home and relax. Whatever has happened has happened. We can't change anything.
Monday's bank holiday.
Yeah.
Monday's bank holiday. So you'll have to be here on Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can say, if you look at, probably we guys will be working in the office in any case, even on a bank holiday, because we don't know right now what is the sampling plan they're going to come up with.
That's correct.
So Christine has mentioned that she's going to send the sampling plan next week. They are not going to send it to us with a couple of days in hand so that we can dress up everything.
Okay.
But my idea is we would be working over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday we'll be working. So if you're coming in on Monday, that is fine. I would say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday is the visit.
Okay.
Jill, Thursday, Friday is the visit, or Wednesday, Thursday is the visit?
Wednesday, Thursday.
No, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, sir. 6, 7. Because
no, 7th and 8th.
For the 8th, calendar shows nothing. For the 8th.
No. Check the email which I've sent you, Christine's email. Jill, check Christine's email which I've sent. It is 7th and 8th.
I thought it was 7th and 8th as well. I put that in my diary.
No, it is 7th and 8th. I think initially Christine had sent 5th, 6th, and 7th, 5th to 7th, but then she would have later realized there's an early bank holiday in May. So 5th is off.
Yeah, so Gordon had mentioned in this report in the end, 7th and 8th of May.
Yeah.
Correct. So my session is, Sajia, you'll have to be here for Monday. Because whatever dressing up we would be required to do, we would have done it as a team between me, Amrita, Aman, and Jill on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I'll come in on Monday. Don't worry, I'll come in on the Monday.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday,
no worries.
Wednesday,
and then 29th, we are having this discussion with him. If there is anything which changes. Now, the other bit that I'm doing is, if you see, I'm copying you in all the external emails with all the EQAs and EEs.
Yeah.
Like in the Pearson, we had Susan. Gordon, I marked to you already. There is one which is Yusuf Gilani, and obviously I've asked you to get in touch with Patricia as well as
I've
this lady
emailed
Louisa.
her last week.
Yeah.
I emailed
no response.
I emailed Patricia on it was P Land. I sent her the message on last week on Wednesday, I think Thursday. She's still not got back to me.
Right. Okay. So in some cases, what I would suggest is all the external emails, make sure you mark me in the CC, Raman at University. Right. If you want to put admin, that is fine, because Jill is also able to pick that up. Admin is a email which Aman and Jill can also see.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So that way they know that, we are persistently following up with them.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. But I sent her it on the 16th of April, and I've not had a response. It's been 9 days.
Right. So I picked it up with Elise yesterday. So she has dropped me an email today saying that I will need that summary discussion from you so that I can internally liaise and get you the answers.
Yeah.
So I am going to now, when I send that email to her, I will copy you in so that we are able to pick this up and get this clarified.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. No worries. So I am going to literally go rush because I have a class already late. No worries, Shazia.
And I'm going to put something together before the meeting. So if you send me the recording of today's session, I'll put something together over the weekend.
Yes, we will.
That's fine.
Is
That's
that
fine.
okay, Jill?
I think,
we will discuss it on Monday, Jill, and then just have a meeting, something when we've got some time, an hour or something, we can just discuss certain points. I'll put something together over the weekend if Raman sends me the recording.
I think you can do this for this one, but next meeting onwards, there's an AI part integrated. The minutes of the meeting is done automatically.
Yeah, that's okay.
In Zoom. So I don't know whether Jill has enabled that, but it is automatic minutes of the meeting. It does it.
Good. Yeah, no, that's good.
One quick other thing which I want to mention is between now and then, the idea is to do some standardization meeting because dates we can put and moderate. So you need to do one with IT and.
Do you like about 3 or 4 a year?
No. Yes, we will need to do more than that because I'll tell you, we'll have to do it subject-wise.
Each awarding body.
Each awarding body, yes, but you'll have to do it, I would say, not awarding body-wise, subject-wise.
Okay.
So my suggestion is, because we have this visit with ATHE and we have 5 approvals with them in 5 subject areas, Jill and you need to have this discussion with Henry and Victor because we've got students on IT, we've got students in law level. So we have law, IT, healthcare, business, and management. So management one, we can show that, we had the discussion of the debrief of this particular report from Gordon. But essentially, we need to have 15-20-minute meetings with Anjum, Henry and Victor, and then Daniel and Anita, and obviously law-wise between me, Yasir and Anjum, with you, which have to be recorded. If we can get that in before 7, that would be great because we need only 15 minutes to discuss.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that's it. And that if we get it, then they will say, what is the evidence? Okay, that's the evidence of the last quarter meeting that we did.
We can discuss the report by Gordon in each of these meetings. So whenever there's a 15-minute one, even if it's a late evening one, we'll try and get.
Yeah. But that meeting discussion has to be specific to the subject area.
Yeah.
So law, once you do it with law, IT, you do with IT. Otherwise, these assessors will lose interest because they have nothing to do with the strategic management.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's
no
okay.
Worries. No worries.
Thank you,
Raman. Okay, thanks, Shazia. Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Jill?
Are
you so can you send me the recording then, Jill?
I will. Once it is ready, I'll send you.
I'll put something together on the weekend. And
no
then
worries.
We can put together some standardization meetings next week for each
That's fine. I'll send you the recording.
Thank you, Jill. Nice to speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shazia. Bye.